Good evening, Facebook. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I started our live, which we'll get going here in just a minute. We're going to let some folks join us, come on into the room. So as you come into the room, I'd love for you all to say hi and where you are joining us from, what state you're in. I've got one person in the room, so say hi. Up here in the corner, if you're not seeing the live button anymore, you are watching the replay. My name is Sonia Rogers, and I decided a couple years ago that I was going to learn how to do cups, and I did the turners and the epoxy and the glitters and all of that awesome stuff to get me to learn. And then my daughter was helping me. She loves to help me, and she had an allergic reaction to the epoxy, and so she cannot be in the garage with me anymore when I did that. So I wanted to start looking into alternatives. Plus I am more of I'm a fast-paced person, and I really like doing things from start to finish in one night, or while we're waiting for folks to gather. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I am trying to put tape on the inside of this cup that I need to fix this lip on, which I'll do later tonight. But so I used to do the epoxy cups. My daughter had a reaction, and I started watching some of the folks online that paint and seal their cups with the clear coats and all of that cool stuff, and it totally intrigued me. It was a new way to do the cups. It's a fun way for me to do these cups. And so tonight, I'm going to show you how I paint this Northern Lights cup. So this is what we are painting. As folks come in the room, I am just going to sit this here. You can't even see that. We are painting a Northern Lights cup. It's a little bit better. This is what we're painting tonight. So just give me a minute and we will get started. Guess I'll work on this one later. Alright, so if you're coming into the room, say hi. My name is Sonia Rogers. I'm showing you, this is what we are painting tonight. I'm going to show you how I paint these Northern Lights tumblers. For the folks that are coming in to the room, all of the stuff that I used in our group event for tonight, I went ahead and posted some information about where I get my paint, where I get the clear coats, the base coats, and everything. I get that from Tamco Paint. I order that online. I typically sit my stuff on a paper towel holder, pull noodle, and then they're nice and secure, and they're not going anywhere. So yes, I do paint them upside down. This is the actual cup I'm going to paint tonight. You're going to see me get to see that happen. This cup has been base coated black. And then I just took the Cricut. I have this pattern cut, the stencil. So base coat your cup, and then I cut the stencil and lay it down. Obviously I measure the circumference, that's the word I'm looking for, of the cup. And I cut my stencil, and then I lay it down. There is a little bit of trim work that I do just because me being a perfectionist and my OCD drives me crazy. But if I tilt this, you'll see the stencil. So there's the moose, the deer, and the bear. I took a silhouette of just trees, like from Alaska, and then I sliced the deer, the bear, and the moose into the tree line. So that's what you see. I've had people ask me if I can do wolves, if I can do other animals. The answer is absolutely, unequivocally yes. It's just a matter of me making another stencil And for those of you using your Silhouette, your Cameo, your Cricut, you know that's pretty easy to do. So most of you are going to be able to do this cup base coated and then cut your stencil. This is what we are painting. Let me turn it right side up so you can see it. This is what we're going to paint. So I got a couple people in here. If any of you want to share this back into the group itself, that would be awesome, just because I can't do that while I'm live because I can't see it. But that way the whole Tumblr group that we're doing this event in, everybody sees us. So if you wouldn't mind helping me just within the Tumblr group itself. And the whole principle of tonight, the purpose of tonight is to help y'all learn, to show you how I do stuff, and answer as many questions as I can. So fire at will. I've got so many cups around me that I'm working on. This one's for my son. He's a Huey fan, Huey Duck fan from DuckTales. So this one's in process, is sitting over here. This is what we are painting, the Northern Lights. Let's get started. So the first thing I do obviously is I prep my cups from start to finish. So my cups come nice and shiny from Walmart. I sandblast those. So real fast, I'll show you, because a lot of people will ask me about this. I wipe them down with a wax and grease remover, and then they go in my blast cabinet. Does not take long when I have that all set up. My blast cabinet, I can do a cup pretty quickly. I do have a 26-gallon air compressor sitting here in my garage. I don't need 26 gallons. I have painted cups now for a while, and I had a much smaller air compressor, but it was too loud. It was driving me crazy when people would come in and out. My family would come in and out and talk to me. I couldn't hear them. I felt like I was screaming over, and pretty much just got annoyed. So I upgraded. The other cool thing is this has 2 outtake hoses. This one is always set up to my blast cabinet back there, and then this hose is always set up to my spray gun that I have hanging on the front of my cart. I usually keep all of my paints right here where I can grab them. For today, because I'm painting with a whole bunch of colors, those are all of the colors that we're going to be painting with. We're going to start with that white, and then we're just going to layer the yellow, the green, the Caribbean currant, which is that teal, the purple, and the pink in. But that's just showing you real quickly. And a lot of people will ask me, I do spray in a booth to confine everything in my garage. And you'll see my filter right here. I've got a fan and an exhaust hose. So those are typically questions I do get. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's paint. So, cup was base coated black, sandblasted, clean, sandblasted. I sprayed an adhesion promoter on it from Tamco, so it was ready. Now it was base coated black. I am just using an inexpensive airbrush that I get off of Amazon. It's just a master airbrush. It's nothing fancy. It gets the job done for me. The items that I'm painting with tonight, purposely I'm painting with because they're inexpensive starter things that I have used. I got this airbrush from Amazon. My paint gun that I showed you a second ago that I used to base coat this, I just picked it up in Harbor Freight. So a lot of the things I'm painting with tonight purposely is just to show you that I do this with inexpensive things that I used from startup and not something that is super expensive. Painting, the only thing is, and I'm going to shift over here a little bit more because I want to paint in front of my vent, I do have to have a dedicated space because of the smells and everything. Try and get you guys set up here so you can watch. You don't want to see me, you want to see the cup. Alright, so here we go. Airbrush down releases air. When I pull back, it'll shoot the paint. It does not take a lot of paint to do this. We're going to start with white. I lay down white on top of this black so that all of my colors will be more vibrant in the end. Let's rock it out. Here we go. So we're just literally going to take this, let me make sure I got everything spraying right, and I'm going to turn this cup, and you're going to literally see me just kind of lay inside the animal cutout and around the trees. I want to make sure that I have a nice white base. The animals I won't go too dark on because I want them to be more gray. you know, kind of like you're seeing them in the light of the lights as a shadow almost. The closer I get to the cup, the finer a line I can shoot, but I'm purposely staying away from the cup with my airbrush because I want a little bit more full coverage and more of a hint, right? I'm not making it completely white. So as I turn this, you should start to see it as it takes shape. I'm just gonna kind of go in between these trees. I will stop here in a minute and I will bring the cup closer to you. Let me just kind of at first it really doesn't look like a lot. At first it just kind of looks like a bunch of white paint that I just kind of throw on a cup. But when I start to lay in the colors, that's when you'll really see the cup start to take shape. So hang in there with me. We're just gonna paint around these trees. The other thing is when you're painting around a stencil, you have to make sure that you do light coats. That was something I had to learn the hard way. With my spray gun, I would paint really heavy coats. And when I would go to pull the stencil, then I would rip paint layers off. And it was because my paint wasn't drying around the edge of the stencil. So you want to make sure that you're doing light coats, which the airbrush will do for me. See? And as you can tell, my paint is running low here, so I'm going to just try to empty my brush. Alright, bring it a little closer for you. You should be able to start seeing the white that I'm laying down. You got to put the white on top of the black so that your colors will be vibrant. Going with a little more white. I gotta make sure that I have this so I go pretty heavy around the top of the trees because that's really where I want the vibrant colors to come through. It'll fade down and you notice I'm not going super dark on the bottom. I just kind of go and turn and go and turn. Not super dark where the animals are. That's about as dark as I'll go down there. But then up here in the top, if I let this dry, when you're all done, I'll wipe it. But let's say I start here and I want to do a curve. I just try to widen that curve out a little bit. This is where I'm going to lay in that pink and the purple and the teal. Give me that Aurora Borealis look. So there's one side of it, okay? And if I come to the other side of the cup, I'm just going to do like a big S. Now, I'm going to do this off the... I have to be able to see it, so hang tight. I just kind of swirl it a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. No two cups are alike. Alright. I'm pretty good with this. I'm just emptying out some of this paint. We'll let that dry for a minute. Base coated black, then I gotta come back in with the white and lay down the white. Now we're gonna build the colors of of the Northern Lights. So while you're watching it dry, literally watching paint dry, I am taking the white paint out of my little airbrush and I'm cleaning it out real fast because I have to switch colors. So when I do this, I just have to hold the end, pull the handle back, let the bubbles kind of backwash my gun, and it'll help me clean it out. Alright, so here we go. Alright, we're going to put yellow in next. So this is just a bright yellow. It does not take much at all. Okay. So I'm just going to start here along the top of the tree line, and I'm literally just going to turn the cup and lay in a yellow band. Now, you will see, I try to stay away from the horns of the deer. I'm going to try and make that band a little bit wider. You'll see it come around the cup. So you'll see what I'm painting on this cup, the yellow at the base of those trees. Sometimes you just got to give it a second, make sure everything's kind of drying in there, because as you layer it, don't mind my children running around in the background. They're out here in the driveway playing on their little skateboards. They're doing their best to stay quiet because they know I'm live. Alright, so I based the yellow. Now we're going to build, and I will put in what is called shamrock green and Caribbean currant. So there are two green shades that I like to paint this cup with. Give me 1 second, I gotta clean the end of my gun off, or my little brush off here. Alright. Y'all can come in, you can say hi, please. Come in, say hi if you have questions. Fire away. I'm not seeing anything. I'm trying to clean my gun out so I can go to or my little airbrush. Sorry, I'm used to having my big air gun or my paint gun in my hand. So we're painting the Northern Lights tonight. Alright, so the next two colors we're going to put in, this is Caribbean Currant. It's like a teal. And then this very green Shamrock Green. The next color I think that I typically go with is my Shamrock Green. So really at this point we're just layering these colors in. And then it takes a minute for me to switch between colors. So here we go. That did not take much green at all. That's most of the green you're going to see. As I start to blend these last couple of colors, I won't use the yellow or the green anymore. I really paint a lot of this with the Purple Pop Pearls, my Piss Off Pink, and this Caribbean Current teal color. There's some other colors you can obviously mix into this to make it more Aurora Borealis-like. For me, the worst part about painting this cup is the fact that I have to clean my little airbrush so many times. Just because you can blend from one color to the next and not completely clean, but I can't. That's just not how I roll. So, we're gonna go Caribbean Current next. Come on in, say hi. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. All right, here we go. We are going to blend between these two colors. I'm right-handed, so I'm used to turning the cup this direction, so forgive me. I have to remember to turn it the other way so you all can see. I like the way these colors look together because if I paint this color, this teal, or this aqua-ish color, over this green, it gives me a nice color variation that I really like. But yet you still see a hint of that green down in there. Now here is where I'll start playing with these other little lines. Hold on one second, please. Marcus Troy! Sometimes I just gotta check on my 7-year-old. I just went around the outside of that with my Caribbean Current. It'll just give me enough of a color. And I'm going to do the same thing with this little horseshoe that I have. Okay. I put just the right amount of paint in this little cup. So I did that. We're just going to keep laying in colors pretty much like this, and this cup will take shape all on its own. Who do we have with us here? Somebody is on, but I can't. Must have missed it. I have 6 of you out there, it says. Say hi. Don't be bashful. This is pink. Technically the name is Piss Off Pink. I absolutely love this color. It is extremely vibrant. It's beautiful. So here we go. So now you see why I painted the cup white initially, because you want to be able to see your colors. And if I would have painted this cup with these colors and not painted it white, you wouldn't see any of them. If I want, I can rock down in here with this pink just to kind of blend it in, really. There's so much freedom in art in this that there's no right or wrong way to paint this cup. And I'll show you why when we're done. Because when I peel this stencil, the vibrant black that was underneath the cup is still going to be there. And then I tape the bottom off because I want the base to be completely black. time to drop in the purple. Thank you for telling me versus going to get it. My son's playing with his wiffle balls and hit one into the street and he didn't go get it, so I told him that was a good decision. All right. My purple just rolls right in there between those two colors. Sometimes the purple will also help me. Mark it. All right. There's the purple. I saw something just a minute ago when I was looking at the cup. I'm going to lay in a little bit of yellow at the base here real quick. Because down here, when I turn the cup, right here and here, I need to drop in just a hint of yellow. Spot I missed. So this is at this point where I will kind of just start looking at the cup itself, making sure that there's not spots blatantly that I have missed, like the ones I just showed you. Plus I like to add a little bit of vibrant yellow right here at the base real quick. Because believe it or not, this cup is pretty much done. I'm just fixing a couple things that I personally like. Turn this around, just kind of bring in a little more of that yellow back in. I'll be honest with you, I'll sprinkle a couple white. Now, here's where I can do a couple things. One, I can put white back in my airbrush, and there's a way I can shoot just a little bit of white to give me like a splatter look. Okay, thank you. Give me a splatter look to mimic the stars. Or I can put a flake on this. I usually just do a white color. And call it a wrap. Let it dry a minute. Now some of this, yep, there's a little bit of dust that'll kind of go with the air gun, so I just kind of take my rag and just kind of brush off some of this. Try to bring that black back. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like the light little paint airbrush. Hold on. Alright. Some of this we're gonna brush right off. It's completely dry, by the way. Careful with that, please. All right, we're gonna splatter in, I should say, some white, And then we're gonna peel the stencil. You're gonna see what the cup looks like. All right, legit. Distance away from the cup because I want it to splatter. I don't know if you can see the splatter or not, but that's what I'm going for. Some things you learn because you get good, and then other things I've learned by error. And this is one thing I have learned to do by error. That's not really how most people would teach you to do that, but that's my way. So this cup is, for all intents and purposes, painted. I'm going to let those little white spots dry a second while I clean out my airbrush one last time. I find it really hard to believe that I just painted that entire cup and not one person had a question or a comment. If you have said something, nothing is coming up on my screen. So away over here. We are going to pull the stencil real quick and see what we have. Just going to start up here. This is just a painter's tape that I use across the top of the cup. Or the bottom of the cup, I should say. Stay away from the road, you two. Alright. And then down here, and most people will ask me, what do I use to cut my stencils? I use Aura Mask, I believe it's 813. Oh no, I have a problem. I can fix it later. I have a piece of black paint that decided to rip up on me. This is what I tell folks. It's humid in Texas. Sometimes it's got to go back in my blast cabinet. It's alright. But for tonight, I can fix that later. I'll fix it. No problemo. Let me peel the stencil real quick here. And you can see, as I peel the stencil, you can see it starting to take shape. What it's supposed to look like. I love when I peel the stencil and you just see the tree line and everything it's supposed to be, and the yellow just in random places, and this is the fun part for me. So this down here, I'll fix that, I'll paint that, I'll touch it up later. And it's just me being honest, just being like, hey, I can fix it, not a big deal. Usually when I paint these cups, I base coated this cup, got up early this morning before my regular job, and I painted it black. Usually I'll base coat these cups like the night before or the day before, or I'll base coat, if I know I have Northern Lights cups to paint, I will go ahead and just paint 2 or 3 of them black and let them sit for a day or two, completely cure that base coat. Because here in Texas, the humidity is ridiculous. So sometimes, if I want to get something done pretty quickly, it can cause problems for me. But right now, the stencil doesn't want to peel. Hi! My neighbors are all walking by and they will all ask, what are you painting tonight? Hold on. No, I paint tumblers. I custom paint tumblers. Yeah. See? My neighbors are asking, are you doing pottery? No, just painting tumblers. I'll tell you why in a minute they ask if it's pottery. That was a good guess. From the sidewalk as they roll by. That's a really good guess. Pottery. And they're probably like, what? I get that all the time. My neighbors will come by and they'll be like, what are you doing? I smell paint. I hear the air compressor. I've had people walk by and they're like, oh, now she has a blast cabinet. Oh, she got a bigger air compressor. So people obviously watch what I'm doing. I think I'm the neighborhood entertainment, to be honest with y'all. As I turn it, you should be able to see this design completely take life. This is my spin on the Northern Lights. Is this the right way to do it? I don't know. This is the way that works for me. Everybody that I've made one of these for, my family members, my friends, people have been like, hey, I saw that, that's really cool. They all love it in the end. It's not freehand airbrush, so, I mean, well, I guess you could say freehand. Like, I'm not just drawing this stuff on here, painting it on here. It's complete stencil work. And in a second, as soon as I get this last big piece of vinyl, and then there's always a piece or two in this deer, in the antlers, doesn't want to ever peel up, so I have to encourage it, as we say in my household. Give me 1 second. All of the stencil that I just pulled off, we're literally going to take this off, and this is what you just watched me paint. The moose, the deer, and the bear. So what I'm going to do, I will just take a picture of this and post it in the live photos. If you guys have left any comments or messages, I'll go back through and I'll answer them all as best I can tonight. I'll sit now and just kind of brush over. Let's see if I can find it. Like if you look at the trees, I don't know if you can see it, but it looks rough. So I'll literally just take my finger, go back over it, and intentionally just kind of use my hand to kind of smooth a little bit of that out. And it helps make it pop a little bit more. See the black starting to shine again? But that is how I paint my Northern Lights tumblers. And if you have questions, if you want to hit me up, you can message me personally on Facebook. You can find me on I have a hobby page. I just do this for fun. It's a stress relief. I have a high stress job, and so I like to just come out into my garage and paint and give me an outlet. So I still have some residue from my stencil, but that'll wipe right off. Yep, also coming already. Easy as just wiping. But yeah, so that's what you just watched me paint, the Northern Lights. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up, STR Designs. That's my hobby page, just so you know where to get a hold of me. I totally just do this stuff for fun. If you have any questions about other cups I've painted, you can see all the pictures. I share them on my personal pages and whatnot. So think you might want to get into painting cups, if you think you might want to give this a go, let me know, I'll help you. I painted this one, like I showed y'all earlier. It's got Huey Duck on the front for my son. So this cup we base coated base coated in a silver. Tamco, where I buy my paint from, calls it silver bling. And then I put pantyhose down over the cup, and ironically, they sit right here. I put the pantyhose down over the cup, right? So it sits like this. We strip them down over the cup, tape it down, and then I sprayed the red color that my son wanted over top of it, pulled it off, and then this is just a white water slide that I put on last night. And so yeah, so that's how I'm doing that cup for him. So these are just examples of things I've done. I have a mess of cups inside. Did a lot of Father's Day cups. I did a fishing lure cup. I did a grill father cup, simple black white style. This one's getting ready to be painted. My neighbor asked me if I could paint one for her, my next door neighbor. So I'm not sure what she wants on that one, but that'll get painted here real soon. But yeah, so for tonight, I thank you for joining me. I thank you for hanging in there and helping me watch some paint dry on this cup. I'm hoping that you enjoyed it. And if you have questions, message me. I will definitely take the time to answer questions as much as I possibly can and to help everybody out. I will take this cup and this cup that I painted the other day, and they will be clear coated, and so they will get this really nice this shiny finish that this one has. I have to touch some issues up on this one, that's why it's sitting here, but if you see the shine on it, that's how shiny it will get. You see that? It'll be nice and shiny and perfectly safe to drink from. So thank you. Have a wonderful night. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint, and thanks for watching.